Flora, and welcome to East Coast Kitchen. This week's question comes to us from Martha Grant of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Martha asks, what is a new way to use winter vegetables? Well, Martha, do we ever have the recipe for you? Today we'll be making a roasted parsnip and Brussels sprout salad with a cranberry citrus vinaigrette from Chef Craig Flynn's book, Fresh and Frugal, using fresh ingredients from right here in Nova Scotia. This is a nutritious and economic meal, with a cost per serving of only $2.50. So come on!
Before you start cooking, don't forget to wash your hands. And don't forget to pull back your hair.
We're going to start by preparing the dressing, as the cranberries need 30 minutes to soak. Chop the cranberries. And add a 1/4 cup of cranberry juice. Now I'd like to introduce today's first guest, Farmer Sarah. Farmer Sarah is here to answer all your produce questions. Our first viewer question comes to us from Sandy Jones in Kentville, Nova Scotia. Sandy asks, what should I look for when selecting and buying parsnips and Brussels sprouts from the grocery store?
So when you're at the grocery store, starting with Brussels sprouts, you can either get them just with the sprout itself, or you can also get them on the stem. There's not much difference, they're both the same amount of freshness, so whichever you prefer. It's just when you get the stem ones, you have to take them off the stem once you get them home. But for Brussels sprouts, what you want to look for is, first of all, if you're getting lots of them, you want to make sure that they're all the same size. And smaller ones are generally more sweeter. So one of the things that I like to do when I buy Brussels sprouts is to do the pinch test. So when you pinch them, just like that, don't be afraid to touch them. When you pinch them, they should be hard and dense. You don't want loose ones. Those are generally older, so they won't be as fresh or as tasty. For parsnips, what you want to look for is a nice white color. Generally, the whiter the flesh, the sweeter the parsnip. And the thing about Brussels sprouts and parsnips are that they're great winter vegetables. So when they're outside and it gets cold, the starches react to the cold by producing sugars. So the later in the winter you get them, the sweeter they'll be. Parsnips, you also want ones that are smaller, as that indicates sweetness as well. Larger ones tend to be woody and less sweet.
Our next guest today will be Kylie, a registered dietitian, who will walk us through the nutrient value of this meat. Welcome, Kylie.
Thank you for inviting me today.
Kylie, what can you tell us about Brussels sprouts?
Brussels sprouts is a very rich nutrient green leaf that contains vitamin C, vitamin K, calcium, phosphorus, and omega-3s.
Wow. So Kylie, do you ever recommend Brussels sprouts to clients?
I definitely do. One of my clients that I love to recommend it to are pregnant ones, as it contains high amounts of folic acid, and folic acid helps decrease birth defects such as spina bifida.
Cool. And what can you tell us about parsnips, Kylie?
Parsnips is a very rich vegetable that contains vitamin K. It contains calcium and potassium, and actually, potassium helps control heart rate and blood pressure. And actually, a fun fact about parsnips is that it contains all your B vitamins.
Next, prepare your vegetables. Peel your parsnips. And cut off the ends. Next, cut your parsnips lengthwise into even pieces. Even pieces help ensure that they all take the same amount of time to cook, and prevents burnt pieces. Next, we're going to prepare our parsnips for roasting. Add 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil and season with salt and pepper. Then toss to coat. Extra virgin olive oil contains good monounsaturated fat that helps lower your bad cholesterol. Another benefit is that the extra virgin olive oil helps you absorb fat-soluble vitamins such as the ones found in parsnip and Brussels sprouts. Then spread them evenly on a rimmed baking sheet. And bake them at 400 degrees for 15 minutes. Next, cook your Brussels Brussels sprouts in a pot of boiling water, making sure to turn the handle inwards so you don't knock it over on your way past the stove. And cover the pot to prevent any strong odors. Also, you want to make sure that the Brussels sprouts are covered with about 1.5 inches of water. This helps dilute their strong flavor. After boiling them for 6 minutes, shock the Brussels sprouts in a bowl of cold water. Shocking the Brussels sprouts in cold water helps preserve their bright green color.
Go. To prepare the Brussels sprouts for roasting, chop off the ends and cut them in half.
So we've taken the parsnips out of the oven, and the heat has caused the protein and the sugars in the parsnips to react and cause a browning reaction and also some caramelization. This adds to the sweet flavor of the parsnips. Next, we're going to add the Brussels sprouts and put the pan back in the oven for 5 minutes. This helps reduce the Brussels sprouts' bitter flavor. Now that the cranberries have been soaking for 30 minutes, we can add the rest of the ingredients for the dressing. Combine 1/2 cup of canola oil, 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar, the juice and zest of 1 orange, and salt and pepper to taste. And whisk together. Store the dressing in the fridge until you're ready to use it. Now that your vegetables are done, take your dressing and coat them. Finish by garnishing the salad with 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. And now we have our finished product, a delicious and nutritious addition to any meal.